All right, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's your girl here. Hey.
Hey.
And this particular live is called Meet the Clinician. All right, and so I am Larneka Lavalais, and I am the owner of Larneka Lavalais LPC PLLC. And it is my privilege to have with me one of my graduate interns, soon to be graduating next month, Miss Tishla Bellard.
Hello, everyone.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I cannot complain at all. I think even though you've been interning with me, we have uh, we have some roots. We have some common roots.
We do.
Abraham Lincoln High School.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Indeed. As a matter of fact, I saw your yearbook picture. They got it posted.
I saw that. I was like, look who
uh-huh.
somebody did.
Okay. And I was like, yeah, I do remember her from school now. Like, okay.
Yes, it's been such a long time ago. It is actually since I graduated, it's been 30 years this year.
Girl, tell me about it. 30 years.
Yes. So I'm telling my age right now.
That's all right though. That's all right. You know what? We still here, we moving, we shaking.
Yes.
30 years. I tell the kids that at school, they be like, dang, because I'm older than their mamas. I probably could be I could probably be the grandmother. Okay. All right. I see LinkedIn trying to get us. There we go. All right. So we live on everything. All right. So the reason, that I asked Tishla to come on, and as you'll see that there'll be other clinicians that I have a chit chat with. I wanted everybody to feel comfortable with clinicians. A lot of times we do a lot of advocacy. I know I do a lot of advocacy for mental health, and a lot of times we might post and reshare and create some content. But who are the people behind the cameras, right? And so when we offer therapy to you, who is my clinician? What is it about the clinician? How why should I go to this person, and do I feel comfortable, in sharing with them? So this is the purpose of us being here. So without further ado, since I see we live on all our other platforms, amen. We got that together. We're gonna start off. All right, you ready?
Ready?
All right, so the first one we're gonna talk about, this is your journey. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to pursue counseling or mental health.
Okay. Well, my name is Tishla Bellard again, and I am from Port Arthur, Texas. Okay. I am a graduate of Grambling State University in Louisiana. I am also a graduate of American Intercontinental University School of Business and Visual Arts, where I received my master's in business administration. And I am currently at Lamar University receiving my master's of education in counseling. Now, let's go back a little bit to my childhood, okay? It was a little dysfunctional in some areas, but my grandmother was there always for me. My mom was support, but she worked a lot.
Okay.
So, my grandmother and I were really, really close. So we talked a lot about the dysfunction in the family a little bit, different people with different
Yeah.
things going on. And
Mhm.
so this is when I thought about being, at first it was a social worker. And I thought about let me go into social work or something like that. Well, then I said, no. And so my grandmother was like, well, what about being a counselor? And I said, well, maybe that's a good idea.
Mhm.
And so that's not my path that it took me on at first.
Mhm.
I got to Grambling, and I decided to change that, and I said, well, I want to be a probation parole officer.
Okay.
Okay. So I actually went into criminal justice when I got to Grambling. And so went to Grambling, graduated, came out, and my mom said, it's too dangerous. I don't think that's what you should do.
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute, but that's what I want to do. She said, no, that's not for you. I don't think that's for you. I don't think that's what you should do. So I said, okay. So actually, I began working um, in the field with people with disabilities. I was a case manager for people with disabilities. And I did that for about 2 years. And then I decided to go to grad school and get my master's in business administration. And so I went back and just being a case manager. Um, went back to being a case manager. Started working again in Houston, Texas, working with people with disabilities, and graduated from there. Came back, started working, went back to Louisiana. My mother had moved from Port Arthur to back to Louisiana, where she's from. So I began working in Lake Charles, Louisiana for Lake Charles Memorial Psychiatric Services. I was over a aftercare program where I was grandfathered in to work under licensed personnel. And I
Okay.
ran an aftercare program there, which
Nice.
for because the hurricane and the storms had came, and so it was a grant given by the Red Cross
Okay.
to help children and their families. So what happens is that I would work on the units during the day, and in the evening time, I would go down to the second floor where I had an office and a conference room, and that's where we would have the aftercare program, which we gather kids and let them talk about their problems, let them talk about their issues, and and just get whatever they had out, And I met with the parents, gave updates and progress, and so it went well. And so after the grant ran out, the program, I just moved. I moved back to I went back upstairs to the adult unit. Um, and I began working with adults as a psychiatric case manager, which now people call it a QMHP, but I was
Okay.
still
Okay.
patient. Um, and so that's history. That's what I've been doing ever since. I worked inpatient, and I currently work outpatient as a qualified mental health professional. I've been working in mental health since 2008, and I've also worked as a psychiatric technician in here in Port Arthur, Texas. Uh, and I love being a QMHP, but I decided that I was going to go back to school and become a counselor.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. A lot of clinicians have journeys. I don't know too many who decided at a young age, I'm going to be a therapist, I'm going to work in mental health and go right into it. I mean, there are those who do, but a lot of people have had different career paths and something has led them to mental health. I can say for me, when you mentioned about parole, my intentions was not to be a parole officer. I wanted to be an attorney. Truth be told, I wanted to be who we know Jasmine Crockett to be today. I didn't know this was
Yes.
back then, but that was my thing. I wanted to be a civil rights attorney. And, my long story short, I didn't get there, but I still got my degrees in criminal justice. And I ended up being an institutional parole officer and doing that work and working in a church. That's what led me to wanting to go into education and become a licensed professional counselor. So,
Yeah.
and I think that when we experience the world a little bit and people, I really feel like mental health, working in mental health is a calling. I think it's because it's a lot.
It
It's a
is.
lot. It's a lot. It's not for the faint of heart. And if you think you're gonna get rich quick and do some stuff, you're in the wrong line of work, right? You really have to have
Exactly.
passion and drive for it. So that's interesting. So now that you are actually studying specifically counseling at Lamar, how do you like the program? Like, how do you feel about the program, or even interning here with us?
Okay. I love the program at Lamar. It's great. I was recommended by one of my supervisors, or whether the owner, she was a supervisor, but the owner of the company that I was working for. And she actually received her master's of education in counseling from Lamar. So she
Okay.
told me she was originally a Prairie View graduate,
Okay.
and but she went to Lamar to get her counseling degree. And she told me, she said, I think you should go to Lamar. They have a great program. So I said, okay, because me being a QMHP, she wanted me to move up. And so I enrolled, and it's a great program. I learned so much. There's so much information. The professors are great there. Um, and I just enjoyed myself.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. 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 You know, I went to Lamar with every degree I have. And I can say I appreciated the opportunity to be there. And kind of going back as an alum, I feel special. You know, I went to something my sister invited me to, the basketball alumni night, appreciation night, and it was pretty cool. And I'm like, you know what, I need to do that more. I definitely need to do that more often.
Definitely. And internship has been great. I've really
Mhm.
enjoyed internships so much. It's different, a little bit different from being a QMHP.
Yeah.
A little bit different, not much, but a little bit different because
Hmm.
we are using our theories
Yeah.
and everything. And so I love using the theories. I love solution focus. I love CBT.
Okay.
Those things are great to use. I love using them.
Well, good, good, good. And they can be helpful, you know. Um, you talk to people all day, you know, with your current position and with the internship, you're still talking to people. With counseling, it's a little bit more focused on, you know, whatever their goals are for therapy. You know, I'm certain you have goals and things in your position. It's probably a little bit more, um, I don't know, more focused in one area versus the other.
Yes.
Definitely. All right, so tell me this, you know, because you know, we follow each other on social media, and I see you share my stuff, and I see you have other mental health things and
Mhm.
stuff that you share. So, why do you believe that mental health awareness is important in our communities?
Well, I think it's important in our community because, there's a stigma that's attached to mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, and I'm going to say this word, I don't like to use it, but people say it. And people say, that person is crazy,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the reason why, I think it's important because people want to get the help, they need to get the help, but they don't want to be labeled. People are so judgmental. But my
Mm-hmm.
thing about it is that, seek the help because people might say, okay, I'm gonna go to my family members or my family or my friends and talk to them about it. But that's the thing. When you are with a counselor, there's a no judgment zone. We do
Mm-hmm.
not judge you for your decisions. You can open up, and
Yeah.
tell people what you feel, what you think, your thoughts, and there's a no judgment there. With family members and friends, sometimes there can be judgment. People will often judge you about things and often tell you what you should do. Everybody knows the pretty much, most of the time know the answer to their own question.
Yeah.
They just need to be guided there.
That part.
Because our job is not to tell you what to do, but to
Mm-hmm.
guide you through to because you know the answer. You
Yeah.
know if it's a yes or a no, or if you done with the situation or not, or if you should move on, if you should change jobs, if it's stressing you out too much, if your relationship is not working for you, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and but being there as a person to listen. I've always been a great listener, you know, and I really believe that I know for a fact I've had family to be judgmental towards things I've told them.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
And that's not throwing shade at my family, but
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying,
uh-huh.
they have done it, you know
Mm-hmm.
and so I went to counseling myself because,
Okay.
again, my supervisor told me that all the counselors or interns or QMHPs need to talk to someone themselves.
Yeah.
Because we have issues ourselves that we need to work out and have to deal with. So talking to someone that is not biased, about things can really help. But I think that people need to understand that also too that if you need medicine, it's okay.
Yeah.
People really need to understand that if you need medication, it's really okay. And if you don't have insurance, or you can't afford it, you can always go to mental health, the MHMR mental health,
Mm-hmm.
and they can help you for free.
Oh,
you
okay.
know Um, and also too, I love your program because with counseling, you do a sliding scale. I love that. You have free sessions. I
Yeah,
love that. So there's help for everyone. And so I really think that, you are doing great at the,
thank you.
with that program of giving people that option to go to therapy and to be able to help navigate them through life. And I just commend you for that. You're doing an awesome job.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. For me in my advocacy, I realized that a lot of people, one of the reasons that people don't want to come to therapy, for one, the stigma, nobody wants to be deemed crazy. And then for two, is it affordable? Because the image that's put out there for what we see on TV, you have people who are well off going to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Now granted, and I ain't knocking nobody, everybody do what they got to do. You do have clinicians that charge a lot more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Some don't take insurance, some don't take specific insurances because the reimbursements are not high. You know, um, some insurance, like what we typically do, let's say if a clinician were to charge $250 per session, child, if I thought people was gonna pay that, I sure would. Okay, but that ain't my ministry right now, Lord. That ain't mine. But nevertheless, I ain't knocking nobody who can get it because there are clients who have a coin and they all right with paying $250 per session. But then when you look at insurance companies, you tell Blue Cross or Aetna or somebody, hey, I'm charging $250 a session. They like, oh, okay, well, the contract with us, we're gonna give you probably 30, or we might give you 80. So you have a lot of clinicians that won't accept insurance at all. And if a
Right.
person has Medicaid, it's even less. And
Yeah.
they like, girl, what boo? I'm gonna go where the people gonna pay the $250. And so people see that and they're like, I can't afford that. I
Right.
cannot afford it. So for me, as part of my outreach, this is why I'm so grateful to my graduate interns who come and intern with me. And I'm so grateful to my LPC associates who come and get their clinical hours with me because we're able to, do some things. As you mentioned, we have a sliding scale. So my out of pocket, if you have no insurance at all, my out of pocket fee is $90. You know, I don't know anybody in the area pretty much that's going to,
Right.
charge that and you get some high quality therapy, right?
Right.
Then we'll slide that scale to at least 50. And if you really tell me, if you talk to me, we can work some things out. And so we also have the affordable therapy plan. And with that, because some people feel like I don't want to get something for nothing. Hey, I feel you. I understand where you are. And a lot of people feel like it might be hard on, times are hard, the economy, gas, grocery,
Mm-hmm.
child, it's a mess. And some people may feel like, well, I don't want to just get something for nothing. I do want to pay something.
Mm-hmm.
And so with our affordable therapy plan, you have your first two sessions for free. And then every session after that is $12.50. People
Yeah.
like 1,200, no, $12.50. you
Yes.
know. And then when I'm blessed to truly have, my graduate interns, um, a bunch because I know that a lot of people sign up quickly. So we try to first come, first serve. We have it for free. If you don't have insurance, you can't afford the sliding scale, even affordable therapy plan may be a lot for you. Then we do have free sessions, but they are limited and they are at 6 sessions. And so I'm like, hey, y'all, need the hours.
Yeah.
Um, because of graduate interns can't get paid, I'm not gonna exploit you. I'm not gonna be like Tishla, see these people for 250. Girl, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. No, no, no. And so I think it's good. And I'm glad that you enjoy that. I'm glad that you get to see that side of things because like you said, in our community, we want to make certain that people come to therapy.
Yes, definitely.
We
It's
definitely want to make
important.
it.
Very important.
So let me ask you this: is there a particular population or particular topics of clients that you enjoy working with, or you think maybe your niche? Because I know a lot of clinicians say, "I want to work with kids, I want to work with couples, I want to work with this, I want to work with that." My particular population is the underserved communities, which would include communities of color, LGBT, uh, housing insecurity, recovery, teenagers, everybody that the other people don't want to see. Y'all are welcome here.
Yes, definitely. And I really don't have a specific population. I enjoy working with everyone because current as a QMHP, I work with children and adults.
Okay.
I also, sometimes people bring in their their spouses, and they want to talk about stuff too, and all that. So it's not really a specific. I am in the dual program. I'm in the
Okay.
MFT, the
All right.
marriage family therapy, and
Mm-hmm.
LPC.
Nice.
So, I get to do a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They didn't have it when I was a school girl. Okay.
Yes. And so I'm excited about that, just about working, you know, um, with pretty much everyone, anyone,
Okay.
I'm available to work with.
Awesome, awesome. So let me ask you this. We got folks watching us, and they're gonna see the replay, they may see some clips, and they may be thinking, I think I might want to be a counselor. This seemed kind of interesting, y'all. Doing work in the community. You seem to be enjoying it. If somebody came up to you and say, hey, Tishla, I'm thinking about it, what advice would you give them?
Uh Life experience life a little bit. I know it seems like, I got a little bit late start with it, but I think that it shapes you. You need to be mature. you
Mhm.
know you need to mature and have gone through some things in your life. And
Yeah,
that's not saying don't be, maybe not, in your 20s. I know a lot of people in my classes with me are more mature
yeah.
students, because that have gone through life experiences. And when we do our case conceptualizations, you can tell, you can see um when we discuss things about, cases or ourselves or our families or sessions that we've had or whatever, using, we don't, of course we don't use names, but
Yeah.
just,
Hmm.
and you can see where everybody has growth, throughout their
Okay.
life, and everybody had, when we did our residency, it was so amazing. We did our residency for a week at Lamar, and you got to talk about things. So my thing is that, don't if you're going to go into counseling, make sure you are a non-judgmental person. Make sure you are a listener, and that you are ready to listen to people and to understand people, and just be kind to people. Always be kind. That's what people need, because you never know what someone is going through. You could save somebody's life.
Hmm.
So
For
you
sure.
have to have a heart for people. You can't be a messy person. You can't be, always talking about this and always talking about that, because you have HIPAA.
Yeah, boy.
You have to comply to HIPAA laws. You
Hmm.
can't tell everybody's business. You
Have
know,
ethics.
that's
them
right.
ethics
That's
will get
right.
your license taken real
It'll
quick.
get it taken away.
Mhm.
So my thing is, I'm just glad, you know, I'm at this point in my life, and I'm beginning this journey. And like I said, I've been working in mental health, and as a case manager for several years. Like I said, since 2008, so almost 20 years.
Okay.
Um, but I think it's time for me to do more. It's time to do more.
Well, that's good. That's good. And um, we do get positive feedback from clients. They be looking for you. They want to make certain that that, hey, I'm coming. Let them know we we might be running late or whatever, but they look forward to talking with you for sure, for sure. Now let's look into like self care a little bit, because it's a lot when you have a job, you're in school, and you're doing your internship. So what do you do for self care? What helps you kind of like not? pull all your hair out or be telling the clients, look, I ain't here. I look, we got a counsel or whatever. What helps you keep going?
Well, I have routines and stuff I do. I like, I do my hair. Sometimes that makes me feel good to get
Okay.
a massage or do my feet or, sometimes just, go out with family or friends and go out to eat or something. I pick one day a week to do something, just one day a week, because I'm very busy. I have a lot going on, a lot to do with school and work, so it's very busy. So you get busy with life and you don't have a lot of leisure time. But my advice to people is to find time. You have to
Mm,
find time for self-care. Find something that you like to do, something you want to do. My I have, I'm on a weight loss journey. That's something that I do for self-care. Is, I decided to diet and exercise. I did have weight loss surgery.
okay.
So I'm all, so that's a part of self-care. Exercising, doing
Yeah.
different things like that can also be a part of self-care, just to take care of yourself and be, because if you're not mentally healthy, then you can't be physically healthy. You can't be healthy
Mhm.
all the way. You see,
Yeah.
because once your mental is messed up, then you start physically declining and vice versa.
Hmm.
So
For
it's
sure.
super important, about that. And what I want people to know that, I read something that said mental health is not a destination, but a process. It's about how you drive, not where you're going, you know.
Okay.
And so that's super important. And also too, people people never don't be afraid to ask for help. That's
Yeah.
important too. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That I mean, it's being courageous, resilient is important.
Yeah.
And taking that first step to get counseling, you know, is courage. It takes a lot of courage to do that.
Hmm.
To go sit in front of someone that you don't know
I don't even know
and
his
tell
name.
them all your business.
That part. That part. Stuff
So
you never told
everybody
anybody.
who's done it, everybody who's planning on doing it, give yourself a pat on the back and you will feel so much better. Be patient with
Amen.
yourself. Growth and healing, it'll happen. It'll happen. It might not happen in the first session, the second session, continue to go and the healing will come. I've had my own journey with grief. Grief is one of those things I've had to deal with. And I lost a lot of family, including my mother. I was adopted, and pretty much all my immediate adopted family is gone except my daughter.
Oh, okay.
And that was very hard for me. And I struggled with that, for a few years. I had a hard time with dealing with it.
Hmm.
But, counseling was great for me. Grief counseling was great. It helped me so much.
That's good.
And so I just want to let people know that, as clinicians, interns, all that, we have our own issues too. We have problems too. Don't think that we just because we're sitting on one side of the table,
Baby.
you know,
Yes.
that we don't have things going on too. You know, we have relationship issues. Some of us have deaths in the family. Some of us have had trauma in our life, you know. So we all have had something, you know, and a lot of people's issues are trauma. People are traumatized by different things. So it's okay to go to someone to do trauma informed therapy. That's okay.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you mentioned you shared a little bit of your journey with us because, as you said before, it's not that you have to have experienced a lot of things to be a therapist, but the experiences that you have had will help you to be a better therapist. I believe that wholeheartedly. I definitely believe that wholeheartedly. I remember when I was a counseling student at Lamar. I was going through some anxiety, going through some things. And I remember telling my professor, like, I don't know what's going on, girl. I don't know what's happening. And she was like, you're stressed. Go talk to somebody. I'm like, how am I going to talk to somebody? And I'm trying to be a therapist. And she was like, honey, that's what makes us the best therapists, because we can understand what our clients have experienced.
That's
You
right.
know, I know anxiety front and back. You know, I might not experience it the way that you have, but I know all the signs and symptoms and coping and everything that you need to do. So that's why when I talk to clients, especially at school, when I talk to the kids, it's like, you feeling this, huh? You feeling it? Or like, let's go for a walk, because I can tell you, baby, it's a lot. It is indeed a lot. And I think it'll be helpful. Well, as we get ready to wrap, I sound like I'm in a session. As we get ready to wrap, I do want to thank you once again for being able to talk with us tonight. You know, you have been a blessing to me in my practice. I appreciate you. All I got to do is text you and say, hey, can you take a client? Yep, I'm going to call them. Next thing you know, you done called them already and scheduled, and we know, and we
the
put
rest
them
is
in
history. Yes.
and get them together. That's why I'm like, you going to come back after you take your NC?
I will definitely be back. Definitely. I am ready for the journey to continue.
Awesome. And so if you are in need of a therapist right now, Tishla is still with us until July, right?
July 31st. I graduate July 31st.
So if y'all would like to see her, you can give us a call at 409-527-4347, or you can go to the website, www.lavalaslpc.com. All right. Well, no, do you have anything else you'd like to say to the people?
Yes, I would like to say, I want to give a shout out to my sorority, Sigma.
Oh, they in the chat. They in the chat.
Guys, the Alpha Psi Sigma chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated.
They are. What are y'all, the poodles?
Yes, we are the poodles.
Baby, the poodles is in the house. Poodles. All right. Yes. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining us. All right. So on that note, mental health is definitely something that we all deal with. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. It takes courage. All you got to do is take that first step. You see one great clinician right here with us, Tishla. You know, there are many others out there. So please tune in. Again, we'll have some other clinicians and just introducing themselves to you. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything that was said tonight, or if you are looking for a therapist, once again, please feel free to reach out. Okay, you can inbox whatever you're seeing this platform on, and we can direct you to our HIPAA compliant messaging systems. So you can let us know what it is that you need. All right, on that note, y'all be blessed and have a good night.